Good morning. Showtime. Coach Kevin, CKBG, coming at you. Connor on keyboard. Here's our intro. I love the intro. I love the intro. So we're talking about a couple things today. Some things that are on my mind, good and bad. Things that I like and things I don't like.
15 seconds.
Okay.
So the song ends.
For the intro. Yeah.
Intro
So I
is
can
installed in
think
2
about
seconds. Right. 30 seconds left. Seconds left. Right, 10 seconds left. Right.
Good morning, Amherstburg. How are you today? Beautiful Saturday morning. Sun's going to be shining. I'm feeling good, Connor. I'm feeling good. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Coach Kevin.
We got Connor on keyboard, master keyboard, master everything, running the whole show. So thank God for Connor. Connor, we've got a show here called Healthy Body, Healthy Mind. So we'll be talking about healthy mind, healthy body. Big weekend. Super Bowl. And also got that big soccer game going on in Asia. It's Pakistan. There's but there's also a big sports weekend. A lot of hype. a lot of hype. I think I'll be glad when it's all over and it's done. We're talking about the Swiftie effect, I guess. And I'm not hearing much about football. All I'm hearing about is this. So I think it's going to be an interesting show. Excited to see it. Football will be fun. And what I like about football and sports is it gets you out there. It gets you socializing. It gets you having fun. You have parties and you have, you get drinks and you have food, and it's a good, what I call a de-stressor, right? It just de-stresses that body of all that tension that you're going through. And so we have sports. We have sports and we get excited and we get our friends together and it's a social event, and I love it. You can feel the energy. So it's all really good. So we got a cool show coming on today. Things I like and things I don't like. And I got a guest speaker coming in that we're going to be talking about. Jake's back in the house. So we're going to be talking to Jake about some cool things. And we'll be talking about the garage. Again, Connor, I trained at the garage gym this week. And I know I go on and on because I work there. I now work there as a personal trainer. And I just love that whole energy of that gym. I miss the energy of the gyms. I've been out of the gyms for a while when I was, coming back and forth traveling. So when I get back in the gym, it just feels so positive. Again, people are training, they're working out, they're high-fiving, they're getting in shape, they're talking about stuff in between, socializing. Again, socialization. I love the idea. So I'm a personal trainer over there, Connor. What I do is I train people one-on-one, small groups. I have a program called Body Forging. Body Forging is an interesting program because it involves no equipment whatsoever, so you could do it anywhere. And it's right in the middle of, just a little space. 8x8 space is all you need. And we do Body Forging program, which is all strengthening of the body. Mind, body, spirit, and soul. So the Body Forging program is something I really enjoy. I created it 20 years ago back down in Florida. And it's kind of a mix of Pilates, Tai Chi, strengthening. It's got some martial arts in it, strengthening, basics, push-ups, squats, all strengthening the body without using any equipment. With seniors, I also use it. We put a chair and I have them squat down and squat back up and strengthen their legs. And we can use a chair for a lot of different things I do with seniors. I don't put seniors on the floor. I keep all my clients, especially my seniors, using a chair because sometimes on the floor it can be difficult. So I really enjoy it. I'm really excited about the garage gym. The garage gym is moving shortly, actually in process, and everyone's really excited about. We have a new gym, a new place, and everything's just brand new. It's a great energy. It's just everything's new. It's like when you buy a new car, right? It's new. You have even that smell of new. Everything. It was good. So I'm excited. Personal training has been something I've been doing for 40 years. That's a long time, Connor. I've been a personal trainer, training one-on-one classes, and I've trained people doing everything from spinning. I'm a big spin instructor. I love teaching spinning. I do all the martial arts, of course. I do the weight training, the weight loss programs. I do yoga. I do meditation. But my body forging program, I'm really excited about bringing it here to Amherstburg. Last year I brought it to Sudbury, and now I'm bringing it here to Amherstburg. And I've been doing it in Florida and the States for a long time, and I'm really excited about it and anxious to show you the new gym, my body forging program. So personal training is what I do. I do online training, and to get a hold of me, sometimes you give a phone number, it's hard to remember, but this one's easy to remember. Fit Production, one word, FIT Production, @yahoo.com. Again, Fit Production @yahoo.com. Easy one to remember. I've got actually my live email here, so if you even have questions now, email me, and we'll talk live on email. Or if you have questions. Vacation time, people. Again, getting away, getting out, getting de-stressed, getting with friends or family, visiting. March, that's a big one. March is a big travel season, especially for Canadians, and they go all over. Costa Rica seems to be a big destination, which I have a friend of mine who actually works in Costa Rica as a realtor. So if you want to go to Costa Rica, or you want to buy a home in Costa Rica, or you want to buy some property in Costa Rica, it seems like it's the place to invest, and it seems like a great lifestyle and very inexpensive. I didn't realize that you can buy a house for $100,000, Connor. It's a beautiful home, 4-bedroom home, and right near the beach. So Costa Rica sounds like an expensive place to go, place to be, place to live, and vacation. So I think, speaking of vacation, I think Jake, we'll get hold of him later. I think Jake is going to be on his way to Palm Beach. And I think he's actually traveling, so when he calls in, I definitely don't want him driving it and talk to me. So, good things. The bad things I want to talk about, we'll talk about what I call pharma mafia. Mafioso pharmacy. Not political, just health. Just talking about what I think of the pharmaceutical company. I'll be playing something today that would be interesting. And actually, Jake is the one who sent me this program that we're going to play today for you. And I'm really excited about that. But before we do that, let's talk. We talk football, we talk the gym. Let's talk Fit Facts. Now, we talk about exercise, and I just think people can be lazy. Let's just call it out. People are lazy. People, they're tired. People. It's more stressful times, work times, pressure times. You get tired. Stress tires you out. Family tires you out. Work tires you out. Traveling. So if you get tired, and there are a lot of people say, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't want to go. It doesn't have to be a gym, but I don't want to exercise. I'd rather just stay home and chill out. But the things you got to remember, and I know I keep pumping this, but listen to a couple things about exercise. Exercise boosts brain power. There's one for you. That's why I'm so smart. Physically active, increases blood flow, cognitive function, your brain, how you feel, your attitude, your personality, your cognitive, your brain. It's so important to train for your brain. There's one for you. Train for your brain. Regular exercise reduces stress. Yes, we know this. Exercise triggers, here's the trigger. Exercise triggers the release of endorphins, which are natural stress fighters. Endorphins are good. These are the things that make you feel good. These are why sometimes people take medication to get the endorphins going, anti-anxiety medication, those kind of things definitely bring in, stress. So you want to make sure you keep your stress down by exercising. Sleep. Here's a big one, peoples. When we're younger, we should sleep more because our body knows it's growing. It's healing. It's something that we need. Sleep is when you heal. Remember that. So when you hear of people getting like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep, what's happening is they go into a deficit. They go into what I call a sleep deficit. It means your body's never quite catching up. You're always kind of lagging behind. And this is the problem. So sleep is definitely crucial for muscle repair, growth, and overall recovery. Yes. Here's one. Healthy fats are essential. Omega-3 acids. We keep hearing about omega-3s, Connor. That's a big one. Omega-3 acids found in foods like salmon. Salmon, you know, all the fish, salmon seems to be always rises to the top. Back home, I used to salmon fish, and it was so cool to talk about salmon. They work hard, those fish, salmon. They have to go up those rivers, and they have to jump those falls, and then they have to bypass the bears, and then they have to bypass the fishermen. Then they settle down, and then they just die, right? They spawn and they die. That's a salmon. But what a beautiful fish, and it's actually the healthiest one for you. Walnuts. We always keep hearing about walnuts. Walnuts are good for support your system, support your heart healthy, and aids recovery. Recovery, again, that's part of your sleep. If you don't recover, if your muscle, people who work out, you know this. Cardio people, you know, work out. Weight trainers, you know this. You need recovery time. If your muscles are training and you're working out, you train those muscles, and then again, you hit them the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Will those muscles get healthy? No. So sleep is recovery. So definitely got to get your recovery in there to get your healing. Hydration. Here's one we don't do enough of, and I can be guilty of this one too with my fruit juices. Hydration is key. Staying hydrated is essential for regular body temperature, digestion, and nutrient transport. Yeah, listen, water is 70% of your body, right? Water is 70% of your body, so hydration is key. It's also 70% of your brain. And you want clean water in your brain. You want clean water in your body. You want clean water in your muscles. If you don't flush, if you don't change that water, and that water sits, and it doesn't move, meaning lack of activity, then it gets into your blood, because blood is water too, right? So what happens, that blood gets stale. Bacteria builds up, and this is a problem. So you always want to make sure that you keep your body well hydrated. Muscle weighs more than fat, yes. And this is one that I run into as a personal trainer. It can be frustrating sometimes. Education is key. Education is knowledge. Knowledge is power. If I'm training somebody and we'll say he or she wants to lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and we start working out, and she's following the program, she's following the diet. And then what happens is they get on the scales. They get on the scales. Yeah, Jake, you're going to call in and we'll give you a cue. You get on the scales, and then all of a sudden you notice your body weight has gone up after a week or so, maybe a month or so, and you get frustrated. You get frustrated. Say, listen, I pay this trainer to train me. I run into this all the time. I run into the trainer to train me, and the scales aren't budging. Well, don't forget your body composition changes. So what happens is your body can be holding water, maybe from a sodium intake or carbohydrate intake, and water can go up. But also, muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle is denser than fat, so even if you don't lose weight, you may be losing fat and gaining muscle. So remember that one. Muscle is denser than fat, so even if you don't lose weight, you may be losing fat and gaining muscle. So that's what I have to tell my clients. It says, what happens is you're putting on muscle. You're getting more muscle tone, so you're getting more dense. So the muscle has weight, so you definitely weight up. Cool. All right, we got a special guest coming in. We're going to get back to you real shortly. We're going to cut to commercial, and we'll be right back. Jake, give us a call. Can you put him on now?
I can put him on. Tell him to call right now.
I guarantee he didn't. That was him calling, wasn't it?
Yeah. Wait. 8 seconds left. Wait. Yeah. 1 second. Let's go.
Welcome back. We're talking about all kinds of things, healthy things. And I know I'm going to be waiting for Jake to call in. And he's traveling, but if he doesn't call in, we're going to go right to it. So, Jake, if you hear this, call us in. Getting him back real quick. Sitting. Oh, we got him here. Okay, here we go. Jake. Hey, buddy, how are you? I'm good. So listen, I've been telling our listeners that you're going on vacation. So, where you going? You're going to Palm Beach, Florida, and you have a place there, don't you? That you go to every year. How nice is Florida? I bring it from Sudbury. Well, Sudbury. I think was it. I remember it was a kid in Sudbury. Wasn't it? Didn't have the most sun in all of Ontario. Or something wasn't it? Was it sun capital or something? Yeah. Same as Amherstburg. We haven't had a lot either. It's not a good sunshine year, I guess. But I mean that the sun is healthy for you, Jake. That's I what I miss is the sunshine. Of course, everybody wants to go to Florida or vacation, and we're talking about a little bit about Costa Rica today. Sunshine, the beach, just get out and just relax and chill and just unwind, right? Yeah. You always look nice with a little color. Not too much sun, of course, because you got to watch. Is Deb with you? Hi, Deb. God bless her. God bless her for Jake. God bless her for hanging with you. How many years now you've been married? Oh my God. Double God bless her. yeah, yeah. I'm one. Relationships are important. I'm the health guy, of course, and we're talking about vacations. We're talking about socialization. We're talking about football. We're talking about getting out and getting away from all that stress. Sitting at home and just watching the news, I think will kill you faster than smoking cigarettes. So relationships, I think, are very important. And I know you've got a strong relationship. You got a great family, and I think that is so important for your health. I had this conversation with you recently, and we were saying, you got a choice. You could live 80 plus, but you're going to have like not a great family life. You're not going to have a great job. It's going to be a tough life. Or, you could have a healthy family life and good relationship life and, prosper in your career, but you're going to drop at 65. Which would you take? Well, so, right. So hey, Jake, we're talking about football a little bit. Oh yeah, what's his girlfriend's name? I might have heard of her once. That doesn't she? I guess if she wasn't there, she was. She is. Sure is now. I tell you. You know what? The thing I like is it's kind of brought all this new fanfare, right? This new younger generation fanfare. More obviously, all those Swifties are going to be into football, and it kind of builds up football. It kind of just puts in, it's this relationship again thing between two people having fun. It's better than watching the news. You know what I'm saying? And watching all these war. We're seeing, we're seeing fun things. We're watching a football game, win or lose. You talked about your team, KC and Mahomes. And now I like him, but I also like this Purdy guy. I like the idea that this young kid. I think his contract was 800 and some $1,000, and whereas Mahomes was a $56 million. It's like the David and Goliath type of thing. What I love. Yeah, with everything. Well, I did my research, and it was 8,600, 86, almost a million on this per kid, and a billion. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. That's what I kind of want this kid to kick his ass. I oh, okay. yeah, 1,000 jets are coming to Vegas and they don't know if you're going to wait for Hong Kong. Oh, what problems we have, right? That's a whole different life. So you sent me something that I really took a close look at. Me and my research, and you struck a nerve, Jake. You struck a nerve when you sent me this video, and it struck so much that I want to play a little bit of it, and then we'll discuss it. Let me set it up. You ever hear of this guy named Tucker Carlson? Absolutely, Tucker Carlson. I'm not a fan, to be honest with you. I think he's a little, a little rough around the edges, and I think he's he talks about things a little wild. So they let go of him over at Fox. I know that because he just got a little wild, but he got his own talk show. And let's face it, this guy's popular. You like him or not, he's like a Howard Stern. You like him or you don't, you know. And so you send me this talk show that he has going on now. And I couldn't believe the first thing I saw Carlson talk. I'm not going to listen to this. I don't know. So then I looked at the bottom and he's got 10.7 million views on this one program that is related to what I do. So I'm going to play a little bit of it and we'll kind of discuss it. What do you think? Okay, stay tuned. I hope you stop that big Mercedes of yours. Okay. Okay, listen up. Here we go.
See whether they're not skeptical. This is a very fat country. That's a huge problem. And a lot of people, a lot of us, wouldn't mind losing 20 pounds by taking a pill. So why shouldn't we? Well, we thought it'd be interesting to hear the other side, a side that you are not hearing on the question of Ozempic from someone who knows a lot about it. Callie Means is the founder of TrueMed. He once worked for pharma. He definitely does not now. And he joins us today in studio. Callie, thanks so much for coming on.
Pumped to be here, Tucker.
So you want to lose 20, and I'm speaking from experience, you want to lose 20 pounds, you don't really want to stop eating pizza. This seems like a super quick way to get healthier. Why wouldn't you take Ozempic? Why shouldn't I take Ozempic?
There's three big reasons Ozempic is very problematic, and I think really the Rosetta Stone to understanding what's gone wrong in healthcare and frankly pharma industry corruption. The first point I want to make is that if a fish tank is dirty, you clean the tank. You don't drug the fish. And in America right now...
So they won't notice.
In America right now, we've got a very dirty tank. 50% of teens and 80% of adults are overweight. And this has happened in just a generation. We didn't become systematically lazier in the past generation as Americans and frankly suicidal. Something has happened. And the core mistake of Ozempic is that obesity is not an Ozempic deficiency. Obesity is not the root cause of the problem. Obesity is one branch of the tree of underlying metabolic dysfunction that's ravaging our country. As we talked about, with over 50% of Americans having prediabetes now, 33% of young adults.
Wait, most Americans have prediabetes?
Oh, it's by some measures is up to 60%
of the whole country?
Of adults and 33% of young adults and teens. Wow. And you have a diabetes doctor, just a generation ago wouldn't see one child in their entire careers. With diabetes now, diabetes, which again is cellular dysfunction, is cellular disruption, totally caused by environmental factors and what we're eating. That's close to becoming upwards of 50% of kids. It's 33% and growing radically. Teens, 25% have fatty liver disease, which is something you only used to see in elderly alcoholics. So there's a metabolic health crisis that's caused by decisions. Right, the USDA, which is completely corrupt, the guidelines that set nutrition standards, 95% of the guideline committees paid for by food companies, they say that a 2-year-old, that 10% of their diet can be added sugar. We have more money from agriculture subsidies in America today go to cigarettes, go to tobacco than vegetables. 90% of subsidies go to highly processed food. We've propped this industry up. Food stamps, right, which 15% of Americans depend on for nutrition, 10% of all food stamps funding goes to soda. We're the only country in the world that allows that. So we have
just soda?
Goes to soda. So
the U.S. government pays people to drink soda?
The U.S. government, direct from the federal treasury, more than $10 billion per year go from the federal treasury to soda companies through the food stamp program. The number one item purchased with food stamps in America is addictive diabetes water. We prop that up with food stamps. As we talked about last time, I actually used to work and consult with Coke, and we paid the NAACP and other groups to say it was racist to take that away. We totally rigged the debate. So through a corrupt system, we actually subsidize soda. We do 10 of these things, right? We use 10 easily identifiable things that are causing us, frankly, to be poisoned. And instead of talking about the root cause, we're saying that a weekly injection that you have to take for your entire life that costs $20,000 per patient when 80% of American adults are overweight or obese, we're saying that is the answer for obesity. We have a dirty tank, and pharma has basically changed our consensus reality to say, you know, when all these things are happening all at once due to environmental factors, our savior, you do the math on $20,000 per patient, 80% of American adults, we're talking, and this is clear on Wall Street, food stocks are going down, pharma stocks are going up, because they're doing cartwheels on Wall Street. This is on track because of government funding, because we stand to put trillions of government funding into this drug to be the most successful drug in American history.
So what? Wow. There's a lot there. But let me just get back to the individual decision to take or not to take this drug. So you're overweight, you have pre-diabetes, and your doctor says, you know, what you would say, which is that's a very serious thing to have. Just because it's common doesn't mean it's not bad. It is bad. And this drug can cure it. Why wouldn't you do that?
It segues really well into the second issue, why Ozempic is so problematic. So on a societal level, you know, I think anyone that agrees, you know, if you're just looking at this issue, you know, putting everybody and pumping everyone with Ozempic for their lives isn't the first thing you do to solve obesity. But even if it was perfect, even if it was perfect, but the problem is when you get to the individual level, this drug medically is a absolute disaster. Medically, it's a disaster. So all you need to know is that Novo Nordisk, the company that makes this drug, recently passed LVMH to become the most valuable company in Europe. So this company, most valuable company in Europe, they don't allow this drug for obesity in Europe. Almost all of Novo Nordisk's revenue is coming from taking advantage of Americans. This is not the first line of defense for obesity in any European country. It's not approved by the government regulators. They are saying on their stock calls that all of their growth is coming from the U.S. They're taking advantage of a broken U.S. system in the United States. And when you dive into it, even people in the United States who are getting government funding, insurance funding for this drug don't have to pay for it. 30% of them go off the drug within 3 months. So even though they're fully being paid for it, and we're being told this is a lifetime drug, there's lawsuits coming, just reported in the past couple of days, on gastrointestinal issues and stomach paralysis. The drug itself essentially is stomach paralysis.
What is stomach paralysis?
The drug, what it does is essentially it sterilizes its stomach, paralyzes your stomach to make you not be able to process food correctly. And there's studies now saying that stomach paralysis, the really messing with your ability to digest food, actually stays after you go off the drug. So there's lawsuits now with people with severe gastrointestinal issues after coming off the drugs that's being pronounced, and that's coming out in lawsuits. Additionally, because of that, you're consistently seeing patients who go off the drugs gain the weight back. So that's almost, I think, universally accepted even by Novo Nordisk. When you go off the drug, you gain the weight back. But again, we're seeing most people that take the drug within the first year come off it because the gastrointestinal issues, the stomach issues are so pronounced. Additionally, the EU, again, where this company is based, just launched a probe into suicidal ideation caused by Ozempic. You can't even make this up. But the EU is doing a massive probe because there's so many reports of increased depression and increased suicide. Now, I was debating a Harvard doctor about 6 months ago, and I brought this up because it's kind of obvious. Your serotonin, what produces your contentment and happiness, 95% is made in the gut. And again, Ozempic essentially is gut dysfunction. So when you mess with the serotonin and mess with the gut, a lot of unexpected things happening. And very understandably, and really what's to be expected, is we're actually seeing reports of a mass increase in mental health disorders and even suicidal ideation from Ozempic. Kind of you just back up and ask, this miracle drug is too good to be true. It's really coming through.
Wait, so you're saying there could be a downside? It's not perfect?
30% of people. But I want to say this, and I'm a libertarian. I think people should be able to take Ozempic. I think most drugs should be legal, frankly. The problem is where the rubber really hits the road is there is an all-out assault to convince us that this is the appropriate drug. Again, this is the target market. This is why the stocks are popping and why Wall Street's going crazy. it's the biggest TAM, the biggest target market for any drug in American history. It's 80% of American adults. But it's being fast-tracked. You wouldn't believe this, but the American Academy of Pediatrics recently said that they recommend this as a first line of defense for teens. And the study basing that decision for the American Academy of Pediatrics to say that every obese or overweight teen, which is 50%, should take this drug, was a 68-week study. We had a 68-week study for a lifetime recommendation to 50% of teens in America to receive these injections.
So I guess nothing would surprise me coming from the American Academy of Pediatrics, which seems really like a vector for badness.
Yeah.
Given their performance during COVID. However, you just still have to wonder how did that happen? That seems reckless. Like, how could a body like that, which has some residual moral authorities because of its name, how could they do that?
You are transitioning like perfectly into the third point, which is that the reason Ozempic, I think, is such a important story in America today is because it's really, again, it's the Rosetta Stone of understanding corruption. Our institutions, particularly the healthcare industry, has completely let us down. And you just step back and think about it. Pharma is the largest spender on TV news ads. It's the largest spender. Novo Nordisk specifically is the largest spender on foundational obesity research. It's the largest spender on medical groups like the AAP. It's one of the largest funders of actual civil rights groups. So you actually can't even believe this. But Novo Nordisk is paying the NAACP to say that not supporting Ozempic is a civil rights issue.
So you're racist if you're against giving kids a diabetes drug?
It's on the NAACP website, and the NAACP is a registered lobbyist for Ozempic, saying that you are a racist because there's disproportionate issues with obesity in certain communities, that you're a racist for not supporting government funding for Ozempic. Of course.
And the NAACP takes money from the drug maker?
They're a registered lobbyist for the drug maker.
How can the NAACP be a registered lobbyist for anybody?
They have a lobbying organization. They have to declare who their lobbying clients are. And as reported in NPR very recently, they are registered as a lobbyist for Novo Nordisk. And on their website, they're saying it is an example of systemic racism to not support federal funding for Ozempic. So this is what I saw working for pharma. You just have to ask who people trust. People trust the medical groups. They trust civil rights groups. They trust the media. You have a situation where, additionally, Novo Nordisk, and this is reported, has given $30 million in direct bribes to obesity doctors. You would be hard-pressed to find a doctor who treats obesity in this country who has not received some kind of donation, not research grants, but direct consulting grants from Novo Nordisk.
Like just sending him cash?
Exactly. So
how can doctors take cash from drug makers?
Oh, this is what's done. The drug makers spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year in direct cash payments to doctors.
But you can't get the drug except with a script written by the doctor.
Yeah,
prescription.
Who take direct consulting fees from.
How can that be legal?
This is what you watch things about the opioid crisis and how the opioid completes the same playbook. I actually, when I was working for pharma, the opioid crisis was in full effect, and there was a panel in 2012. And the panel was full of outside experts recommending guidance on opioids. The head of that panel was a man named Dr. Philip Pizzo, who was the dean of Stanford Med School at the time. He was a pain specialist. At the moment he was appointed to that panel, Stanford received a grant from Pfizer, who's one of the largest opioid makers, of $3 million for pain research. He appointed 90% of that panel, who are also conflicted, who received direct research and personal consulting fees from opioid makers, and they relaxed opioid standards. This is exactly what's happening in obesity. You have Dr. Fatima Stanford, the head of obesity research at Harvard, paid tens of thousands of dollars by Novo Nordisk, just started a new... Direct. Not to mention, of course, millions of dollars of research grants. She's been paid tens of thousands of dollars.
How can Harvard allow that?
There are no conflict of interest rules in medicine. Harvard is supporting her, and the NIH recently, it came out that 8,000 research grants went to university professors who also have a direct conflict of interest with the topic and the drug they're studying.
How can how can you be a physician, even a teaching physician, and do that? I mean, that's so obviously unethical.
It's so obvious. It's so omnipresent that this isn't. it isn't discussed. I mean, you're saying this like it is obvious. It's manifestly obvious. You hear this, most Americans are outraged. This is like, you're swimming in water. You don't realize you're in water. This is how academia is. The food industry, if taking it to food, which is making us sick, spends 11 times more on foundational nutrition research than the NIH. Pharma is the lifeblood, right, of foundational scientific research in this country. And then you get to the NIH, of course, it's a revolving door between government and industry, and the vast majority of NIH grants go to pharma research. So the NIH is basically a grant-making organization, and this is just statistical, almost all going to research that has conflicts of interest with pharmaceutical drugs. The problem here is that every institution, all these institutions fundamentally make more money when we're sick. Ozempic doesn't cure obesity, it manages obesity for life, and that's a problem. Statins don't.
I'm sorry, I should have asked at the outset. You made a couple references to it for life. Is that as advertised?
Oh, no, that's
so if I sign up for Ozempic tomorrow, the physician will tell me you got to take this forever.
Those are the instructions, yes. They admit that there's unknown metabolic problems if you go off. That's on the box. No, this is a lifetime injection. The key thing here, Tucker, and again, getting the corruption, right? You're paying off the doctors, you're paying off the medical groups. 50% of TV news funding. I mean, I think
I've seen it.
Yeah, and there's RFK's talked about this back in the day with Roger Ailes. When 50% of your bills, speaking the choir, but 50% of your bills are paid by a certain interest, why didn't the news media have any curiosity during COVID why people were dying of COVID? Metabolically healthy people weren't dying of COVID. This is where the corruption and really where it all ties together.
I'm sorry, will you describe that in a little more detail?
We had probably the biggest event in American history since World War II, where we shut down the country, where we really, I think, showed our weakness just physically and mentally as Americans. American COVID deaths were substantially higher than other countries. And research, it's not argued, has come out saying that the COVID was a foodborne illness. Dying of COVID was a foodborne illness. If you were metabolically healthy, if you had stable cholesterol, stable fasting glucose, weren't obese, you didn't die of COVID. COVID disproportionately, overwhelmingly, even among older people, affected people with comorbidities. And we're a lot sicker in America.
And the comorbidities were caused by eating bad food, mostly.
Comorbidities are obesity, heart disease, diabetes. Those are the main comorbidities. So if you did not have those, you were essentially not impacted by COVID and had an almost 0% chance of dying of COVID. So the media, though, right, who's heavily funded by pharmaceutical companies, didn't have any curiosity about that. Didn't have any curiosity. Maybe this is a 9/11 moment that we're not at our best as America, right? We are a sick, depressed, infertile population. Sperm count is down 50% in just the past generation. 25% of women now have PCOS, the leading cause of infertility. We are having trouble reproducing as a species. And these are all connected. And there was a moment to talk about this, but instead the media, the government institutions who are paid by pharma, pushed a pharmaceutical solution with trillions of dollars of airtime as the solution to our crisis. Then this was one of the greatest public policy mistakes in American history. After coming off of the worst public policy failure, I think one of the worst in American history with the COVID response on every level, keeping the bars open and shutting down the schools, to pushing an effective pharmaceutical solution instead of root solutions. We're being asked to trust pharma when 80% of the American people, their bodies are like rebelling against them with obesity, which are clearly a sign of underlying issues. Whereas big and daily, weekly shots is not the root.
Jake, you with me? Jake, you still with me? So that was only a little bit about the whole. Now this guy is really, he's a doctor. And he's well researched. Terry, he's well researched. So I got a lot of respect for the source that it's coming from, and they list it. So kind of scary, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, that. Yeah. And the other half of this, so Ozempic is really popular because I think I was talking earlier about people are lazy. Now all of a sudden you can have this product where you just, they use Zap and then you look like, my problem, is Oprah. I know everyone loves Oprah and Oprah, and she's the most, well, you know, yeah. Well, you know, it's like the guy said. The guy said it's the environmental issues that kill us. The stress is a big thing we talk about. But I mean, the environment that you breathe and you put in your clothes and you spray and these fragrances, they all get in your system. So the environment of not just the outside and the water now we drink, they think is full of carcinogens because of the plastics in the waters. It just goes on and on and on. You know, Well, yeah, well, this is my problem when I'm talking about Oprah. Oprah now has bought shares into this company. She's the spokesperson for Ozempic. Now, I was looking at the other day as who are the most influential people in the world. And, Oprah was on the list. She was on the list with a lot of major people. She's influential, so you get a product and you bring in someone who's the most influential person in the world. What a great product business profile, isn't that? And so all of a sudden now they got, famous, and everyone loves Oprah. So whatever Oprah's doing, everyone else is going to do. Now, and you heard the doctor, how the problems and the side effects, and it's going to come up more and more. And I wonder how happy Oprah's going to be when she hears about all these people who are having paralyzed stomachs from a product that she endorses. That just gets I'm rocking in my seat now. It gets me going. Wait, let me finish this one, buddy. Oprah, comes out and she says, I want everybody to Ozempic because look at me, I've lost 1,000 pounds and you don't even have to exercise. And this is where I come in, because the problem is when I come in, people don't go to the gyms as much anymore because they think now we can just take it in a drug. We'll take it in a pill. We'll take this and we'll go on a diet and we don't need it to go to a gym. They don't understand, have the knowledge of how important one-on-one training with a personal trainer, eating a healthy lifestyle with the company that you represent, because they don't have the knowledge, Jake. You have the knowledge. I have the knowledge. And no. What about a conscience? How about a conscience? I kind of I just, it behooves me that she get involved in a company with all her money. Why get, if money's not an issue, why go on the world and say, I want everyone to be like me and take this drug? It's wonderful. It's a wonderful drug. And then I was talking to even Connor this morning. He said, everybody knows about, you talked about bad news. Well, Ozempic, they think, oh, it's a wonderful drug, so everyone's on it. Like Viagra, right? Viagra, oh my God. I'm not saying Viagra. Listen, Viagra can come in handy. But I mean, the things that it does in the long term is blood pressure and heart disease and liver disease, and that's the thing. The liver, the filters of the body can't take all this. They can't take the stress. They can't take its blockage. It's all these products. It's drugs. The human being wasn't made to do this. It wasn't made to take all this in. And you wonder why. We all quit smoking. Okay, no one smokes anymore. Great. We're all walking around with water bottles. I know, especially in Florida, they're all walking around with water bottles, and they're not smoking. And everyone's still dying. Everyone's still dying unless they've extended their life in the hospitals and gone. Now they're in sick care. Now it's like my mom. Now she's in sick care, and her whole life is going from doctor to specialist, to blood clinic to doctor to specialist, feeling like crap. And the guy in the show, we continue it. He was talking about every person that's 65 years and over is on at least 7 different pharmaceuticals. 7. For blood pressure, for cholesterol, for it just goes, stress, medication, depression, all has to be cleared up in the liver. The liver gets sick, the liver gets toxic, and that's called cancer. It's called heart disease. So get off your butts, get to a gym, buy products that are healthy for you, environmentally safe, and exercise, and have a wonderful life, and go to Palm Beach on vacation. Well, I think the people sit at home, they get comfortable. I live in a retirement community. Everyone's retired. Retired, I mean, it doesn't mean you don't do anything. I don't know what this is. Okay, you might be off of work, but we've got all these wonderful recreation facilities. I'm training over at the garage gym. I love this gym. These people are working out hard and they're getting results. You know the gym business, and Jake, I know the gym business. And when I get impressed with something, it must mean something. And I'm not just impressed because I work there and I'm a personal trainer there. I'm impressed because of the program they're putting together is based on strength training, not jumping up and down like Jane Fonda and having a heart attacks and doing much cardio. I've been involved in two heart attacks now, Jake. I've personally been involved, one in Florida and one up in Sudbury. And I was involved, and when somebody goes to a gym, and I had this talk to one of my clients the other day, she goes, I'm at the gym. I said, great, I'm glad you're at the gym. And she was going to the gym up in Sudbury. And I said, be careful. She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, you don't know how much blockage you have in your arteries. You're 35, 40 pounds overweight. You want to go to a gym. So you go in there, and these gym guys get you, come on, let's go. And you go, because you don't want to be embarrassed because people are watching you. And you want to make sure. And all of a sudden, you don't know how much blockage you got. And I've witnessed, if I've witnessed 2 heart attacks, 3 heart attacks actually, and I've been involved in helping one I lost and one I got back from performing CPR. But when somebody goes to a gym to exercise and they don't know how much blockage they got, it's a risk. And because of their body's got all these toxins in it, and your poor heart has to take all this in. Your poor heart has to take all this in, and you're feeling fine. You could have 95% blockage and nothing wrong with your day-to-day function. You get up and put on your pants and go to work like anybody else and come home. It's the same every day. But God bless, all of a sudden you have to do something very fast and energetic or stressful, and your body has to start pumping, your heart has to start pumping, and all of a sudden it's blocked because you have nothing going to it. It's like a car with a fuel line plug. It's just not going to go. So what happens is when those arteries plug up from all that crap used in your body, from all this environmental stuff and all these toxins in your body, and and all the rotten food that you're putting in there with the sugar. Like, so you can tell I'm getting excited because I just get angry when it's just about knowledge and getting off your ass, like you said. Get walking. Go to the Lipo Center. Go to a walking center in the wintertime. You don't have to sit all day. You got to get out and move. Well, yes. Yeah, the garage. I really like that gym, as you can tell, and I'm really excited to work there as a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for 40 years, Jake. Yeah. I'll send you that. I'll send you that $20 later. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, well, that's why we got a good thing going between the two of us. You're helping people with products. Products that you can. All you got to do is go online to an easy website that you have available and get products and start living a healthy life. But you got to not be so lazy. You got to actually do some research or listen to your coaches. Listen to Coach Kevin or Coach Jake, and just don't wait until the heart attack happens. Don't wait till you get diagnosed of cancer. Don't wait until the pharma puts you on these pharmaceuticals that make you numb. We got weed everywhere in Canada now. Everyone's just like stoned. So everyone's lazy and they get the munchies. And what happens when you're lazy and get the munchies. So it's just because when we were kids, the guys who smoked weed, they weren't very, athletic, and they weren't very, they kind of just did lazed around and didn't do much. And it feels like, I know all the medical benefits. Yes, I do, listeners. I know the methods for cannabis and for CBD, and I know there's lots and lots. But I'd be interested to see, it just feels late. People get lazy because of drugs, and they get, so you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and say, I'm not going to fall into sick care, and I'm not going to go to these doctors. And these doctors, all they do, they're just you talk about drug dealers. Look at just one thing we got to straighten out first. On that last interview, they were talking about the American system, and I think there's a lot more, corrupt things. Definitely, I think the Canadian system is better. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I think it's better as far as I think the regulation on the Canadian system. The doctors, I think, are a little stronger and not so lax. The payoffs that go on in the States, I know, are crazy. The opioid crisis and all the money they're making pushing those pills and making people on opioids, and now we got people doing the same thing on pharmaceuticals. It's just drug dealing. Like doctors are, listen, I love doctors. They go to school for a long time and they learn some stuff, and they know how to read blood, and they know how to diagnose, and they know how to treat. But the problem is when they do the basic treatment of stress, going to a doc, hey doc, I'm not feeling good, I'm stressed. Well, everyone's stressed. We're all stressed. To put these kids on Adderall, and now we got an Adderall epidemic of kids going. Adderall was the thing we used to take a pill before we used to study for a test, right? Just keep us awake. Now they're taking it every day. It's a part of their lifestyle. So Adderall and antidepressants, and then cholesterol, and then so it's just, I get going because it doesn't have to be that way, Jake. Jake, yeah, Jake, listen, got it. Time flies talking to you. We're gonna close the show, but I want you to wish you and Deb a very happy vacation, buddy. Drive safe, and thank you so much and we'll talk more about Melaleuca. We're going to talk about Melaleuca, and we're going to do it on the next one, and we'll get right into the business end of it. Thank you, Jake, so much. All right, buddy. Love you, dog. All right, buddy. Yeah, great. I like talking to Jay. Jay gets me going, and he's got the passion. You can hear it in his voice. He's got the passion, and I've always been told that I'm very passionate. People say you're very passionate about fitness, Kevin. You're very passionate. Yeah, I've been in fitness all my life. Hockey player, and grew up into fitness, and got into the strength program, and was a very strong man, strongest in Canada at one time, and Mr. Bodybuilder, Mr. Fitness, And I also, those are accolades that look nice on the trophy, but the biggest trophies is when I see people get results. And I was talking to Pat earlier, and she's from Florida, and she said, you know, your testimonials, your results that people get is the key of proving your success. Now, I've had clients, you know, for losing 10 pounds to 80, 90 pounds. I've had one lady, she lost 90 pounds. She was 300 pounds, and we got her going. And I love success stories. I love you talk about trophies. My biggest trophy is when someone says, Kevin, thank you. And they look at you up like you've just given them life. You know, how many people have that kind of power that you can just change their lives? So personal training is a pleasure. I've traveled the world doing it. I've trained all over the countries doing it, and I just really, really enjoy personal training. And I'm really happy to be in Amherstburg. I think Amherstburg is a wonderful town. My mom, I'm looking after my mom here, and my dad just passed, so we're looking after things and getting my mom back into shape. And I got my mom training, and so I like to work with seniors. I like to work with everybody. I like to work with the kids. I like working with all kinds of people that need help. But you gotta get off your butt and make the call. We call it the trigger. So it's like Jake was saying earlier. If you rely on these drugs, they're gonna get you. You know, mafia pharmacy is going to get you. So, you know, make the first step. You know, I think the first step is going to my Fit Production line, which is my email, Fit Production, FIT, production, one word, Fit Production @yahoo.com, and contact me. You know, I think that's all you got to do. And it's hard for me to understand when someone can be overweight, not feeling good, and just feeling down, negative, distressed. Trust me, you work out, you come over to the gym, the garage gym, and work out. We've got a brand new gym coming up. I know Tony and Danny are on vacation enjoying Florida, and they're coming back and full of renewed energy to open up that brand new gym, and I'm going to be part of it as far as teaching my classes one-on-ones as well as small groups. So I encourage everybody in Amherstburg to go see the new, and the one that's come to transition, the garage gym, get involved. Money is no issue. Money is no issue when it comes to training. So don't ever say to me that something's too expensive, because if you want expensive, get sick. If you want expensive, get sick, and you see the cost of sick care, and it's just not even close. So get off the Ozempic, get off the medications, you know, do it gradually if you have to, but you start turning your life around, make that resolution, and, you know, call Coach Kevin. Give me a shout over on my email. My phone number, 249-979-2956. Again, slowly, 249-979-2956. Connor, been a pleasure. Amherstburg, been a pleasure. Enjoy that football game. Have fun. Play I'm going to say play some Taylor Swift, but no. go have fun and enjoy, and may the best team win, and whatever happens, happens. All right, team. I'm out. Coach Kevin, see ya. How'd that... I know did you have to adjust the volume in the call-in?
The Holland was fine.
Came in good?
Yep.
We're done.